Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. And I promised you a cracker of a session, and here it is. To tell us all about it, our guest Shekhar Iyer ji will be joining us now. Shekhar ji, Namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel.
Thank you very much, Sri Iyer ji. Thank you very much. Nice to be back.
Shekhar ji, first off, there are three big topics that I would like to talk about today. Number one is Mr. Raga's Bharat Jodo Yatra and his intemperate remarks, in my opinion, about Veer Savarkar. Second thing I want to talk about is this TRS versus BJP. TRS seems to be saying, "Mai kare to chamatkar, tum karo to balatkar." And then the third one is the jail treatment for VIPs. Mr. Satyendra Jain, we have it's doing the rounds where he's being massaged in the jail. So let's start with Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra. What was the need for him to take pot shots at Veer Savarkar ji?
Actually, some of the Maharashtra Congress leaders think that, rather they believe or are beginning to believe that Rahul Gandhi is, when his yatra is in Maharashtra of all places, should have raked up this Veer Savarkar thing when, there was no issue about it right now. Because he has been focusing on some selected subjects. And suddenly to, make the remarks on the first day, then attempt to come with some evidence by way of a letter, which, this has been talked about, debated, that Savarkar, when he was in the, detention during that period in Andaman cellular jail for more than 10 years, he had written letters. That has been analyzed several times. That is whether it was the tactics, and after all, even Mahatma Gandhi had pleaded for Savarkar's release. Now, what Rahul Gandhi has done has shocked Maharashtra Congress leaders, because he has not only kept on repeating it, saying that I am right about it. And that has upset not just the Congress party, but also the allies. Uddhav Thackeray is so upset. He says this cannot go on like this. And Sharad Pawar is silent, but his silence speaks more, because even Pawar's party people think that, what is this nonsense? This is not an issue. We are supposed to be talking about Prime Minister Modi, about BJP. Why you have to bring in this? And people are asking, has Rahul Gandhi forgotten what Indira Gandhi had said? See, when Savarkar died in 1966, Indira Gandhi was information minister, broadcasting minister in Lal Bahadur Shastri's government. At that time, the government of India too had condoled his death. They came out with a stamp. And Indira Gandhi, as a prime minister in 1980, even wrote letters to the trust. She even made a contribution to the trust. Sir, in Maharashtra, people hold Savarkar in high esteem. Even though he was accused in the Mahatma Gandhi assassination case and his name was cleared, he was absolved of all charges. There is a high reverence for him, and they feel that the years he spent, particularly in the Andaman cellular jail, and incidentally, I have been to Port Blair, I have been to that little cell, that small cell where he was detained. Sir, if you visit cellular jail, you can understand what kind of torture, mental torture and physical torture the inmates have undergone. Because right from the room where Savarkar was kept, we just look below. There are 3 floors. If you look below, the gallows is there, which means every day the other inmates can actually watch a person being hanged. I mean, and that is why he is some kind of an icon in Maharashtra, and people recall his struggle and the books he wrote. They may not agree with many things which Savarkar said, but when it comes to the question of patriotism and his fight against British, and the tactics he used against British, is highly regarded in the schools and colleges, by students, by everyone. And for Rahul Gandhi to do this is nothing short of harakiri in Maharashtra. I mean, you can talk about Savarkar in the air-conditioned rooms of the India International Center or in some academic forum. You can go on discussing it. And after Vikram Sampath's book, the debate was again revived. Because all those who are opposed to Savarkar because of his Hindutva policy, they sometimes tend to dilute his role in the freedom struggle, which is a different thing. But why should he rake this up now? Because this is not going to bring benefit to Congress. And people are wondering which is the audience Rahul Gandhi is addressing. So this Bharat Jodo Yatra, which is actually now looking at Yatra to nowhere, this particular controversy is also, and Uddhav Thackeray deployed Sanjay Raut of all people to say that, look, this is creating problems, and it is going to create uncertainty in the alliance. It's a very serious remarks, considering the fact that Uddhav Thackeray has no ally other than the Congress and Sharad Pawar. That means on the ground, things are not at all good for Congress party, particularly after these remarks. And actually, he should have moved fast to Gujarat. I'm told he'll be joining the Gujarat campaign. Instead of that, it is the Yatra is still plowing the fields of Maharashtra. By the time it reaches Gujarat, I do not know. They would have lost lot of days, campaign days. But sir, this explains the typical problem of Rahul Gandhi. What issues to take up? But Rahul Gandhi, the fact that he's reiterating it, day after day, it only shows that he feels that he has to make that point no matter what damage it crosses. I mean, this is a very strange thing that is happening because, sir, we remember during Shankar Iyer when he was a petroleum minister in the Manmohan Singh government, because under NDA government they had put up a plaque and all that in the cell where Veer Savarkar had spent his days in the Andaman cellular jail. And Shankar Iyer, as a oil minister, petroleum minister, he got that plaque removed because it was put by one of the PSUs, oil marketing companies. He got it removed, and there was a controversy over that. But subsequently, the Congress party has realized, at least in Maharashtra particularly, there is a broad consensus among political parties not to make an issue or a controversy out of Veer Savarkar. At that, Rahul Gandhi seems to be blissfully unaware, or he is, willfully wants to show that he can dare to speak on subject where others, dread to even think about speaking.
Very, very sad, because there are many more pressing topics on which he can put the current government on the floor, on the mat, and ask them tough questions, especially since the neighboring state, Gujarat, is going to elections. He would have been better served going and starting the campaigning like today. Like at this very moment, he should be in Gujarat. There are only 10 days left. And he might be able to barely cover half the number of districts that are there in Gujarat. Anyway, that's just for us to speculate what is going on in the brilliant mind of his. Ask Shekhar is the hashtag today. Any questions of yours, please use Ask Shekhar. And Shekhar ji, next question is about TRS making a big deal of BL Santosh trying to poach TRS MLAs. Sir, not long ago, TRS did the same thing to Congress MLAs and TDP MLAs. So what is it that's good? It's good if they do it, but it's not good if the others do it?
No, whether others have done it in the first place, because this whole
that's
thing
again another question. Right.
Yes,
right.
This whole thing appears to be a kind of a hoax narrative, because the money was not seized. It was all talk. Now we are told, even they say that the promises were made that those who shift over, they will get 100 crores worth of contract. I do not think BJP in its right senses, assuming that BJP is poaching these MLAs when a year is left for election, would actually promise someone 100 crore of business just to come over to their side for each MLA. I doubt it, sir. That is not the price of a TRS MLA today, because the whole thing appears very bizarre. But what I can see is, sir, the other thing also, you can also see how TRS people are actually getting very violent. The way they attacked the Nizamabad MP, that Arvind's house was attacked because the Kavita, because the whole issue is about TRS daughter. Whether the Kavita, and it was already talked that there are rifts within the family, that Kavita feels that she has been sidelined. The next person is KTR, son of KCR, and she doesn't see much of a role here. So that is the time when all these talks started. Whether she has whether she's in touch with Congress, whether like Jagannath Reddy's sister, who has launched a party in Telangana, whether she has some other plans, because she is equally an ambitious lady. But after she lost the Lok Sabha elections in 2019, she has been quite not as effective as his son. So there is a lot of buzz about, all because the whole thing started with saying that because Kavita made a wild allegation that BJP is approaching her to shift sides. Otherwise, they would book her under ED. And so, to which Arvind said, she's actually trying to talk to Kharge. And she got very angry. And what I hear is TRS people attacked his house in the heart of Hyderabad. His
Yes.
70-year-old mother was present in the house when this whole incident happened. They even damaged some puja articles in his house,
Yes.
I'm told.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
this only goes to show somewhere along. I get a feeling is KCR losing it, because I mean, still, it is still assumed that KCR and his party still have an edge over BJP, considering the kind of secret pacts which they have with OSC, with the kind of the money power that is at his command. So it is not that the BJP has got a upper hand in Telangana as yet, but the fact that seems to be facing a kind of a diminishing return, in the sense, look, suddenly he is finding the state government doesn't have enough funds to keep going some of the schemes that he had launched. Suddenly they seem to be, they have overspent the money, or the treasury is on the way of running out. This is the impression one gets. Second thing, he fears, after the Gujarat elections and the Himachal election, when Modi gets free, it's very likely that the focus will come on KCR, his ministers, and their commissions. It's quite possible he fears that Enforcement Directorate, CBI, they will be, coming to Telangana. So, in order to preempt that, I think he has come with this, and this attempt to, to arrest BL Santosh, who is the BJP General Secretary in charge of organization, is also some kind of warning. Touch me not. If you do this, I can do this. And in this case, it's very interesting. They tried to serve a notice to Santosh at his Bangalore residence, whereas he is based in Delhi these days, because he is the BJP central in charge. I mean, he's the organizational man for the BJP. I think the basic attempt is to show that, look, I can also do this. But I think this is going to get serious once the elections get over and the BJP focuses in Telangana, because Telangana will go to polls in November of next year. And I see that this battle is going to get ugly. One, you are seeing the street fights. Two, he wants to use his police, like Mamata had done a little long ago, and now that she has realized that that's not the way forward, she has rather, calmed down, I would say. But similarly, KCR seems to be on. He thinks because he has enough resources, he launched this the Bharatiya, BRS, Bharatiya, Rashtriya Samiti, and that doesn't seem to have got anywhere excepting the inaugural function. So it looks like KCR probably maybe started making mistakes, I would say, political mistakes that might ultimately help the BJP. Because I still understand the Telangana situation is not totally, has gone out of his control. He still controls a lot. It's still possible, his party can do better than the BJP. But the BJP is waiting for his mistakes, and his mistakes have started happening. And the fact that the rift in the family has come out in the latest controversy, I think that shows that KCR is in for some very serious trouble in the future.
Before we move on to the next topic, Shekharji, who, in your opinion, is the charismatic face of the BJP in Telangana, sir?
So right now, I think they are not looking at any particular phase. They are still counting on Prime Minister Modi to push that campaign. I think that seems to be the picture. Though there are 2-3 leaders whom the BJP has in mind, and I don't think at the moment they are going to project anyone. Rather, they are looking at the situation where the main engine, the driver of the engine will be Prime Minister Modi, no doubt about it. So you can see after the Gujarat and Himachal are over, the focus will shift to Karnataka, because that will happen in the first quarter of 2023. So Karnataka, Tripura will, take the full attention of the Prime Minister and the BJP. Along with, you have other states, northeastern states, you have Meghalaya, Mizoram, and probably Nagaland. And by end of the year, you have got Telangana, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, and Rajasthan. So I think you can see a lot of things happening from next year. But it is also possible KCR may even, advance the elections because he did it last time. That is why he is holding the elections in 23 November. Otherwise, Telangana went to polls like Andhra Pradesh with the Lok Sabha elections of 2014. But in 2019, he advanced it and held it in 2018. So I would be surprised if KCR again attempts to advance elections so that he can prevent BJP from gaining further advantage in gaining further advantage, BJP gaining further advantage owing to the problems in his own party.
Thank you so much, Shekharji. Before we move on to the next topic, perhaps the most juiciest one of all, I wanted your input on, see, today, even though India is a parliamentary democracy, but what you actually see playing out is a presidential form of government. Modi is essentially calling the shots. I mean, that's just like the US presidential form of government. I have no problem with that. Now, he also said that we need to normalize the state assembly elections in sync with the center. Instead of, having maybe once every 5 years, they can have a reset at 2.5 years. So what, like in US, right? The first Tuesday of November, Shekharji, every alternate year is an election day. It is ingrained in people's mind. First Tuesday of November, every alternate year. And that is the day that Congress will re-elect itself. That is a house. And many other things happen at that time. Senators run a 6-year cycle. So every alternate time, they will also be up for re-election, so on and so forth. So why doesn't India warm up to this thing where of course, it requires many states to sign on, plus perhaps a constitutional amendment saying that at the 30-month mark, one day, you just pick something like what I said, like the first Sunday of April or first, whatever it is. Why can't India get behind this idea? It saves a lot of time. I feel PM is spending more time in campaigning than in running the country.
Well, Shreyaji, actually it is Prime Minister Modi himself had, a couple of years ago had talked about holding simultaneous elections.
It's a very good idea, sir. Yeah.
And he also he wanted to generate a debate. But then there was so much of opposition from other political parties because this is a constitutional amendment. It would require major changes in the sense you will have to bring in a provision like as they do in Germany, the term of the house is fixed. In case one leader loses majority, that the very house will have to find another leader who enjoys a majority. So that there won't be frequent elections, but the term has to be fixed. Now, these are issues which I think the other political parties are not ready yet because they feel the whole idea is proposed by Modi because it suits BJP under Modi to go for simultaneous elections. But whereas I feel, sir, there is another problem. So even when you agree, let's say even the parties agree, there are some states which will have to dissolve early. Some states will get extended term. That is not something the parties are willing to give up. If they are in power, they don't want to lose 2 years early just for the sake of simultaneous election. So this whole idea, okay, if I have got 2 years left, why should I agree for a simultaneous poll just for? So I think at least the BJP ruled states, if they could have, this idea was talked about, why can't they? But I think this is the idea that Prime Minister Modi may pursue after 2024. After he wins the elections, he may pursue it. But I don't see anything happening at this moment because right now, if at all there will be forward movement, it could be on the Uniform Civil Code. That's being talked about. There could be a law on population control or de-incentivizing people who go for a larger family or incentivizing people for the small family norm. These are the things that could be on the legislative agenda of Prime Minister Modi in the run-up to the next parliamentary election. But at the moment, I do not see this idea being pushed forward because of the fact that these are no party is willing to even talk about it. They feel that if Modi is proposing it, it must be huge advantage to the BJP. That's why we won't even examine it.
See, you have to rise above all these things because they have dreams of becoming prime ministers themselves, the Mamata Banerjees of the world, the KCRs of the world, the Stalins of the world. I mean, you cannot suddenly flip on a switch and say, today I stand for the country. Till yesterday, I was berating everything about the center. And today I stand for the country. I shall take care of you. That doesn't wash. So, anyway,
But
thanks for. Go ahead, sir.
now, Shriji, but look, what is the quality of leaders you have today? You think a leader like Stalin will think about the future of the country? A leader like Mamata thinks about the future of the country? Sir, where are those leaders who can, I mean, look beyond their nose? I mean, you do not have that kind quality of leadership, sir. Have you seen any single proposal from any of the so-called regional satraps who have any idea about the nation? Otherwise, why should they be opposing everything? Even what they had agreed earlier, they oppose. Now, take for instance this open pension, this old pension scheme. Everybody had agreed under Manmohan Singh government's era. Now, it is the Congress government which are reverting to the old model when they know that it is unsustainable. Because the old pension model is a huge, huge burden on the exchequer, which that is why the new pension thing was thought of. Now, just for sake of winning elections, you are seeing it has been promised in Himachal. They have promised it in Gujarat. I mean, without realizing, I said, here is the problem, sir, in this country. If the party has to win election, they forget what they are promising without realizing the consequences, because this country cannot afford to go back to the old pension scheme.
Absolutely, Shekharji. And I saw a budget chart of Tamil Nadu government, and I'm sure this is the same thing playing out in other states also. What I saw was 71% of the revenue goes to paying salaries, pensions, interest taken to pay these things, and so on and so forth. And the remaining 29% is like 48,000 crores. And do you know how much TASMAC's annual income is, sir? 45,000 crores. So you take money from the people, make them dumber, fill them with drugs and alcohol, stick it to them by doing welfare projects again. This is exactly what they're doing. It's a most unfortunate situation that exists, and I don't know if anybody else can turn it around. But going back to old pension scheme is just unbelievable, sir. It's a totally and not warranted. I don't know when they'll change it. But let's move to the next topic, and I want to start by showing you a picture, a cartoon that PGurus had put out. Sasikala had converted a resort into a jail, and then she converted her jail cell into a resort. And for leaking out a video, or leaking or releasing a video, whichever way you want to think of it, of her going out from the jail to shopping, coming back with all these Gucci bags and so on and so forth. That video was leaked to say what kind of a royal life she was leading in this prison. The jailer got transferred, sir, IPS officer Rupa. And now you have the same thing play out with Mr. Satyendra Jain. And you have seen on social media, masseuse is coming and massaging his legs. This guy is casually reading So what is it that makes all these politicians get VIP treatment in jail, sir?
Well, sir, whenever politicians talk about need for reforms in the penal system, in the jail condition, I always wonder, I mean, they are most futuristic about prisons, because if at all they have to go there, they better make things there. So this particular thing is actually very, very shocking, sir, in the sense, what we are seeing is Satyendra Jain, before he was charged and put behind bars, and he has not yet got bail from any number of times he has moved the court. And he was also jail minister. Now, what has happened is, after they discovered, after these videos came out and it was discovered that he's enjoying, all facilities, apart from nice food and fruits and all that, and the action has been taken because 28 jail employees have been transferred, including superintendent of the jail number 7, where Satyendra Jain has been locked. Now, what is coming out now is, now Satyendra Jain has now filed a case against Enforcement Direct, saying that these videos are being leaked to damage his reputation if he had won, particularly inside TR jail. And second thing is that Manish Sisodia has come in support of Satyendra, saying that he is undergoing some kind of what is called pressure therapy. because he is unwell and it is recommended, it is allowed under Jain manual to take medical. But from what we saw in those videos, it doesn't look like any kind of Ayurvedic therapy. It is a normal massage, inside prison. Somebody is pressing your soul, somebody is pressing your palms, and somebody is pressing your head. I don't think it is plain Ayurvedic, at least the way I understand Ayurvedic massages. But the fact that these people in the jail, this we have seen, sir, most of the people who go into the jail, and those, particularly those businessmen who are also jailed, they use their resources to get the best of treatment. And TR jail has been notorious for such kind of facilities being extended. And you remember that infamous case of Rajan Pillai, who was beaten to death by fellow inmates, and later it came out that some jail officials were pressurizing him to cough of money, and he could not give that much of money. That is why they got other inmates to beat him up, and that is how he died. This is one of those infamous cases we have heard before. Now, one thing is clear, sir. After the suddenly, Aam Aadmi Party seems to be losing steam even in Gujarat. After that initial euphoria, they are going to take. But once the Delhi municipal elections were announced, and the way things have been playing out, and so there is a linkage between these AAPs, being troubled by their liquor policy scam, and some TRS leaders. You can see the investigations have taken this ED frequently to Hyderabad to collect evidence against these people. And some of the former aides of the Deputy Chief Minister Sisodia, they have been singing in custody, before ED. So somehow you feel that the Aam Aadmi Party, which came out with lot of gusto and full energy in Gujarat, now I gather that they are not making waves as earlier. That initial euphoria has gone bust now.
Shekharji, I am kind of intrigued by the policy of the Modi government, politics-wise, where they always have this let them bleed. Like there is an open wound, and that wound is leaking pus and blood and so on and so forth. And this is I'm metaphorically saying that that's what an ED case against a politician is. And then by sending that person to jail, it's like you're performing surgery. They don't want to perform surgery. They want to use that to keep showing that, look, this is what this is, this is what this. I don't know when this government is going to, let the ED, CBI, any investigative agency to take the whole thing all the way down to the end. 5 days in prison is fine as long as he's found guilty, or he or she, and that they go and do their time. You do the crime, you have to do the time. This is a very fundamental facet of democracy. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents, sir. Let's take a look at some questions that are coming our way. First question, I'm going to put it up. Just 1 second, sir. ADMK party controversy case hearing is on Monday. Judgment would be in whose favor? Please do share your insights on this. This is from Kaushik.
Well, sir, I do not see an immediate court relief to either EPS side or OPS side, because again the court matters will drag on, and ultimately I think both sides will realize that they have to come together. Otherwise, they are getting nowhere. See, already the latest thing that we are hearing in Tamil Nadu is that OPS and EPS, now EPS is now trying to say that, because he didn't meet Amit Shah when Amit Shah had come to Chennai recently to participate in one of the India Cement's function. And EPS was quoted as saying, look, I did not meet him because I had no need, which has got interpreted as saying that probably EPS is trying to chart a course for his faction of the ADMK, independent of the BJP. On the other hand, the OPS seems to be is looking at a situation where he can again, bring other factions, that is Sasikala or TTV Dinakar and others, and somehow try to regain the control of the party. Now, we are told that when Prime Minister went to Tamil Nadu recently, probably at the airport, he had a word with EPS and just asked him, how are you and all, but that got interpreted as saying that he has again conveyed a message to these warring ADMK leaders that they should get together. Sir, but I think the whole problem with the ADMK today is they are not moving anywhere, excepting, of course, EPS is very active. The fact that, like the days when he was chief minister, as they say, he would roll up his dhoti and walk into the slushy paddy fields. He has done the same thing, because after heavy rains in 𝙤𝙬𝙤𝙬, we saw him again rolling up his veti and in the knee deep water, trying to assess the damage to crop. This kind of active chief minister, when he was active chief minister, he seems to be getting very active as opposition leader also. I think a lot of good sense need to prevail on all the ADMK leaders, because they are not getting anywhere, because it will again lead to a situation where the two-leaf symbol, because they had come together for the sake of the two-leaf symbol. Now, if this again going back to court and again making it a protracted legal struggle, would mean they'll lose the symbol, which can happen at any stage.
So sad when just to finish that thing, sir. See, Tamil Nadu has always worked on charismatic politicians. Whether it was Annamalai, who could turn a phrase or two, but he was assisted ably by Karunanidhi and MDMK, MGR. MGR was a crowd puller for Annamalai's meetings, as well as initial days of Karunanidhi meetings when they were together. And then once MGR went out and formed his own party, it was MGR that was the charismatic figure. After that, again, same thing with Jayalalitha, because MGR's wife couldn't make it. V.N. Janaki couldn't cut it in politics. So what I'm trying to say, sir, is this one-man charisma is needed. Do you think EPS has that?
Sir, EPS doesn't have charisma. But what EPS has is, he is seen as some kind of an active chief minister material.
Hands-on, okay.
Hands-on. And we saw it, in the last 2 years of EPS rule. And he managed to, show that he is active. He reaches where he takes decisions fast. That impression has stayed with the people. That is why a lot of credit is given to EPS, that he actually prevented ADMK from a complete rout, because of his popularity and his the way he had functioned as chief minister. Sir, I believe Tamil Nadu has reached a stage no more charisma will work. Last time people thought it would work if Rajinikanth had dared to make his foray into the politics. He didn't. I think no more charisma is going to be an issue, because at the moment people are going to see, is he a leader who can, he's coming to our aid. And I think corruption has also become an issue, sir, in Tamil Nadu. And that is why the traction that Annamalai is getting in Tamil Nadu is largely because Annamalai may not have a charisma, but he's largely being seen, at least, or people are beginning to see, particularly the young people, as somebody here is an IPS officer who had, functioned as an effective police officer, earned a name in Karnataka as an honest cop, and he is here. He has come into politics, and he is absolutely clean. There is no baggage with him, and people are looking at him, and that is what is worrying both the DMK and the ADMK leaders. That BJP has finally chosen someone who is completely different from the rest of the stock. I think that is the kind of thing people are looking at. Probably Annamalai is developing his own charisma, not because he has a cinema background or he is father and son of somebody, but rather because he has brought a record at the way he articulates issues, the way he talks about problems, the way he talks about solutions. Of course, he seems to be a leader who is in a hurry and more angry with issues and things. But I think Annamalai is the leader people are watching. And today, sir, the most important thing, Prime Minister Modi, launched that Kashi-Tamil Sangamam, which is a very unique thing, and it is sending out a message. I think the Prime Minister has decided that this whole politics that has been going on in Tamil Nadu for a long time, using, overhyping the so-called cultural differences between Tamil Nadu and the North, and this constantly raking up the bogey of imposition of Hindi, and that how the Hinduism of the North is not the Hinduism of the South, and trying to equate Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma is the name. Actually, it means the eternal religion, because the beliefs and practices that are which are codified as Hinduism, for the sake of putting them together in a way. that has now we have constantly, I find, in the political narratives of the DMK, they keep referring to Sanatan Dharam, they equate it with the caste, pernicious caste practices, saying that it means that without, I mean, they are doing it deliberately. But today, sir, what happened in Kashi is a very significant thing. For next 1 month, you are going to see at least more than 2,000 young people from Tamil Nadu will be traveling to Kashi. You have got the scholars will be coming. There will be debate, discussion on the Tamil Saiva Siddhantam, on your Tirukkural and all great, I mean, Tirukkural and all other things. I mean, this is a new development that has come. And today, the kind of reception it was getting in, uh, particularly in Kashi, I can see the public reception also. I think a great new beginning has been made.
Thank you so much, sir. And viewers, do read that article on pgurus.com. We just put it out for you. You can read all about it and more. Shekharji, next question for you. Tarun Balaji wants to know, what is going on in Punjab CM's mind? Seems like the state will go bankrupt by his policies.
Sir, they promised a lot. And today they have realized that the treasury is empty. There is no money left. I mean, this is something that Bhagwat Mann felt it on the very, within a week of his being in office. That's why he rushed to the Prime Minister and said, please save Punjab. And I mentioned it before. I would like to again mention it. That Prime Minister told Bhagwat Mann, apparently, that Punjab is not going to be denied its dues, but we cannot help you for all the promises that you have made. Sir, this is the same thing. I mean, why make all those promises and win election, then finally end up in a situation, say, then ask center to give more money? And Punjab, sir, not just there is some kind of administrative stalemate. You can also see the law and order situation is also causing a lot of concern. You have shootouts. You have a lot of those separatist elements again getting active in the border state. I mean, it is something which I think is worrying the center too.
And viewers, we can't take any more questions. We have a few questions left, and we have to finish after that. We're sorry for that. It's just that we have a time constraint. Right after this program, there's going to be a Tamil program on PGurus Tamil channel where I will be talking about what has happened in the BCCI's decision to fire the selectors. That's going to be in Tamil. Those of you who would like to watch can join. It'll be a separate link, of course. Just stay tuned. So next question, Shekharji. Chaitanya Takli wants to know, what was your most memorable interview of a politician?
Well, I've met a lot of them, right from Indira Gandhi to, a lot of people. My interactions with Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji was also very interesting. And my interactions with Narendra Modi before he became Prime Minister, before he was even Chief Minister of Gujarat, when he was one of the General Secretaries of the BJP in Delhi, those interactions are also very, very interesting in the sense it brought a lot about some candid aspects of these personalities. So it's not one particular leader, but there are, I would say, with so many leaders, even with Lal Krishna Advani, there are some things I've discussed with him, some things he told me, and there are several interesting episodes. Perhaps sometime when Shreyarji, whenever, if you feel like, we could have a session where we can talk about all those things and how the leaders, as they appear to us through the media, and as leaders as they were. I mean, there is so much things in contrast which should interest our PGuru viewers. We could do it someday.
Absolutely. We'll have a special session on that one. Just keep reminding us. I know this is it'll be a good one. Shekharji, one thing that I see repeatedly after people see your hangouts, they say Shekharji provides information as it is. There is no sugarcoating. That is the moniker, that's the thing that you've earned over your journalistic experiences, sir. You don't sugarcoat anything. You see it, you say it as it is. There is nothing extra, there is nothing less. So thank you so much for taking, choosing our channel to air your views. So I'm really grateful for that. Next question, please. There's one question left. Vck Thiruma, 2 days ago, Kaushik asked this question, said separate Tamil nation is the ultimate aim. He's a sitting MP. Why no action has been taken against him?
Sir, he's saying all that because he wants attention. Thirumavalaman is again a person, he's either here or there because he's supposed to be an ally of the DMK, but rather more close to Rahul Gandhi and the Congress. And he keeps making all these wild statements now and then, and his fear of the BJP. Sir, all these politicians, they fear the growth of BJP in Tamil Nadu. And the other day you had A. Raja, the former telecom minister of 2G fame. He himself was making all kinds of, they say the wildest thing in the hope it will draw attention, it will provoke people, it will provoke BJP to attack them. And they have found a convenient bag in, as I said, they keep on talking about Sanatan Dharma as being some kind of an entity which they have to fight without realizing that. And sir, other thing is there in terms of their, I would call, if there is a quotient to measure their understanding of our heritage, it's absolute zero. I mean, if I can call something called HQ, heritage quotient, is absolute zero. And most of the time they talk nonsense, and of course in very fluent Tamil.
Yes, man, the professor, sir. Vck Thiruma is a professor. Very sad, very sad. Rajkumar wants to know why Veer Savarkar is targeted by Congress, especially by Raga.
Sir, I think the whole idea seems to be that whoever is treated as icon by people whom Rahul Gandhi thinks are closer to BJP or hold the view which is akin to the RSS. So I think he is caught in that mental trap which he has set himself without realizing nobody is bothered about Veer Savarkar in the year 2022, sir. They are talking about issues and what does Congress offer as in terms of an alternative policy or alternative program. He has nothing to say, and I think he, like a parrot, Rahul Gandhi, even through the yatra, he has been repeating the same thing. All that you see with new set of people, through the walk. But people, within the Congress party itself, people are beginning to feel. I mean, here is a situation where party has been Kharge has been put in charge. Priyanka Gandhi she did some campaign in Himachal, and perhaps she is not going to Gujarat, and Rahul Gandhi will be going. As if they have that luxury of time to take that sweet will to go there and campaign. That is one thing. Second thing is, what about Karnataka? Now, next year, Karnataka, I would always say, I repeat it, it's a low-hanging fruit for the Congress because BJP has severe anti-incumbency issues in Karnataka. There is no doubt about it. But how are they going to deal with the factionalism, the ambitions of Siddaramaiah, ambitions of DK Shivkumar, and for all Kharge himself may have ambitions because Kharge has held all posts other than being Chief Minister of Karnataka, and he could be the Dalit Chief Minister of Karnataka. So, with this kind of the other issues, raking up Veer Savarkar, and particularly when in a particular state, I mean in Maharashtra, he's held in high state. Like, sir, you and I may have different views about Periyar. Periyar is highly, he's an icon for a lot of people. But at the same time, there is a controversial side to him. We can debate it. But in Tamil Nadu, if you were to go on a yatra and start abusing Periyar, I'm sure you are not going to be welcomed with garlands. So therefore, these are icons. Of course, Periyar's controversies are even bigger when you compare to Veer Savarkar. Veer Savarkar had a particular view. And sir, and the constant attempt that is being made, I think we need to look at that. They always credit the two-nation theory to Veer Savarkar. That it is because of him, but that is not the fact. In fact, 50-60 years before Veer Savarkar appeared on the scene, the founder of the Aligarh Muslim University was the man who first talked about Muslims as a separate nation. I mean, because of the fear that was fueled by the British themselves, who used the divide, divide and rule policy. But Veer Savarkar, because he responded to that two-nation theory with the theory that yes, Hindus are also separate as a bloc. So the theory is credited to him. So I think Rahul Gandhi is basically looking at, what could be, what all can I do so that the BJP appears, poor light. That seems to be his one-track mind. But instead of looking at how to put BJP in poor light, at least he can see how to put Congress in better light.
Well, he could start by answering three questions, in my opinion: his British citizenship, second, what he signed in 2008 in China, and thirdly, there was another question I had in mind. Oh yeah, what was it that he talked to Lalit Modi that made him flee the country for good, and now he has even taken up citizenship, I believe, of Malta, so that he can't even be deported back. I mean, Lalit Modi has gone that far down the crack. He can answer these three questions to start with. Absolute last question. Srinivas Kompela wants to know: Raga must be shown what Moti Lal Nehru wrote to the then Viceroy when JL Nehru was arrested, and what facilities Nehru got when compared to Veer Savarkar.
Sir, I know during the emergency, a lot of people who were seen as great opposers of emergency, where they wrote postcard to Indira Gandhi saying they supported the 20-point program of Indira Gandhi and 5-point program of Sanjay Gandhi and came out of the jail. Many people did. Later they claimed they were the great heroes of the anti-emergency heroes. Now this is, sir, many a times, I mean, particularly in the Veer Savarkar case, particularly, we know he did not compromise with British. And those letters, like Rahul, to make an interpretation that it was a tactic, because he wanted to come out of the jail, because he wanted to organize the resistance to the British rule. That is, otherwise, why would Mahatma Gandhi plead on his behalf? Why would Bal Gangadhar Tilak plead on his behalf? I mean, these are facts of history. But I think Rahul Gandhi is not concerned about the history, sir. He hopes he can set off a new narrative. I think that seems to be his one point thing. He feels that his narrative, what he thinks should be Congress narrative, is just not catching on, and he doesn't know what to do about it.
And many of you may not know this, but Motilal Nehru was actually the prime minister of some sort of a funny government that was formed in the late 20s and 30s. Go back and read Motilal Nehru in Wikipedia. You'll know what I mean. I mean, this family has felt entitled for a long time. Thank you so much, Shekhar ji. And as always, a pleasure having you, sir. The time just flew. And I wish we would have more people watching your program. But I'm sure once this thing goes online, more people will come and join. Thank you so much, sir. Namaskar.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.